Welcome back. Right now we do have Larry, who is on line 3. Hey Larry, can you hear everybody here in the studio?
Hello?
Hey Larry, yep, you're on right now. You're on open line.
Okay, thank you. I got a question. I want to know why the Montgomery County, these two people here maybe can tell me, why Montgomery County and Clarksville, Tennessee has lost so much money in the last couple of years for the buildings and everything that they've come up with, painting something other like a railroad track or something other for a millionaire. And do these two people live in the city, or one of them live in the Montgomery County, or why not both of them just move to the city and pay the city taxes instead of paying the county taxes if they want the city so bad? And why is you got pieces of property that exempt from paying taxes in Montgomery County and also in Clarksville? And that's what I got the question for these people, because I live in the county and I don't want to have nothing to do with the city.
Who wants to start?
I agree with your statement. I live in the county and I don't want to have anything to do with the city.
I agree too. I live in the county also, and you know, I don't want to pay city taxes.
I don't want to pay city taxes.
All right, looks like we were having a little bit of an echo there. Let's go to Wayne here on line 4. Hey Wayne, can you hear us here? You're on open line.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, what's your question?
You know, hearing this discussion, it kind of reminds me briefly of what Mayor Beverly Briley had to go through in the 1960s when he had the vision for metropolitan Nashville. Everybody basically said, you're out of your mind. Okay, look at Nashville today. Now, everybody feels like that Clarksville will close up if the Army base moves. Well, it's like I said, there's got to be a middle ground somewhere. If you don't agree one way or the other, what's the middle? And let's work the middle and work together and see if we can't do something that both of us can agree on. That's all I have to say.
All right, I'll take that first. I think you've got a very good point there, looking for the middle. And there's a lot of things in this charter that are good. And these things can be enacted by the county commission or the city council without the need for a charter. For instance, term limits. The city already has them. The county can enact them through the county commission. Nepotism, or anti-nepotism, if you will. Again, they take just a simple act by the county commission. That's middle ground. We could all work on that. We don't need the charter to do those things. So the charter, insofar as those type of things, gives us nothing.
I would just say that I think that commissioners have been down that road before of anti-nepotism and things like that, and it doesn't gain traction. So it would take a different kind of philosophy or movement to make that happen. And this is one strategy. Consolidation is simply a strategy to get those things accomplished.
Well, in the last election, we had several new, different commissioners, not the same old guard, that were elected. And I think they will implement these changes in the commission. I think they're very open to those changes.
You had brought up nepotism, and in our previous story we talked a little bit about that, but can you guys both talk about what's in this proposed charter regarding nepotism?
Basically it says no. And like I said, that's a good thing, and that's something that, you know, the commission and the city council could enact right now.
So commissioners essentially can't vote for their own pay raise, or
their own pay raise,
give examples for people who are
you know, voting for their own pay raise or working for the county, let's say, and also being a commissioner, things like that. That just doesn't take that much to change that.
I would say that there have been attempts to change that in the past, and they failed. I think Wayne and I both agree that those are really good characteristics with or without the charter. I think we both agree.
I'd agree, yes.
All right, Leslie is on line 2. Leslie, can you hear us? You're on open line.
I can.
Do you have a question?
Yes, my primary question is regarding the involvement of the people who were initially responsible for calling for this charter and for making this charter happen and being on that commission for this charter, that commission is supposed to remain neutral on the issue. They're supposed to not be trying to push one side or the other, but simply do what's best for all of the city of Clarksville and the county as well. When it seems to me like what seems to be happening is they're doing exactly the opposite. Our United Community PAC is working very hard to pit city voters against county voters. They're working very hard to let the county know how they'll benefit versus how the city will benefit, rather than bringing everyone together to see you'll all benefit equally. And then there's, in particular, the issue that Mr. Yates, among other members of the commission, of the people who solicited the commission going through and then writing this charter, are the very people that are supposed to remain neutral, present both sides equally, yet Mr. Yates is the treasurer of the PAC that's pushing for this to actually happen.
So is your question, is this a county versus city charter?
No, my question is, if the Charter Commission, Mr. Yates included, are supposed to be presenting this as a solution for our entire community and not picking a side as to which one they will support or not, yet you've got the very man who's the treasurer for that entire PAC sitting in front of you representing the yes side.
All right, let's start with you, Bob, because she mentioned you specifically being the treasurer of the Political Action Committee. So what do you want to say to Leslie?
I would simply say that's not the way the state statute is structured. The state statute is structured so that the discussion will be free-flowing, that people who are for and against can participate in the process. I mean, the way the consolidation state statute is constructed is basically, once the Charter Commission is established, it's like a boat that gets pushed off the dock. It has no oversight on purpose because they don't want political biases or influence or mob rule or pressures to influence. They feel like that process ensures that it gives that there is an opportunity that the citizens will be best served when there is no oversight in the process. And yes, I was on the commission, and yes, I'm vote yes, and I am the treasurer. I did not check my First Amendment rights under the Constitution of the United States when I decided to do this. I'm a private citizen of the community. I don't work for the government. I have civil rights, just like Hank has civil rights in the process. And so there is nothing that is presumed that somebody would check a bias or a desire by serving on that committee, because we saw that amongst the committee members. The charter passed 11-4. There were people that were against it that were on the commission that are now part of Vote No. I mean, it works both ways, and that's the way it's supposed to work.
I think the expectation of the citizens was that the Charter Commission would be neutral, would present a document that would stand or fall on its own merits. Early on, I believe, from reading the Charter Commission minutes, the vote yes and the push towards yes got intertwined with the writing of the Charter Commission. This tainted the document, in my opinion.
Explain to me the taints, then.
The taint? Because rather than writing something that was neutral, that would stand or fall on its own, it was geared towards trying to accommodate. How are we going to get people to vote yes if we do this? How are we going to get people to vote yes if we do that? And then
those are two abstract ideas. Give me an example of something
when you had the push poll by Red Ivory Strategies, which was geared towards trying to
trying to understand.
Get people to say yes.
Trying to understand what the voters wanted in the charter.
No, it was trying to push them towards saying yes. And your own minutes from that meeting say that. And I have them right here someplace. They say that you would try to do a poll where you would segment the people and then try and deliver a, say it right here, introduce a generic favorable vote yes message to voters instead of just conducting an honest poll.
Let's go to Kate on line 3. Hey Kate, you're now on open line. Do you have a question for our guest here?
I feel like that the no consolidation movement is trying to spread a lot of falsehoods. The fact is the charter grants us increased voting power, creates term limits, and will keep taxes from going up, and will create protections from annexation that we currently don't have. And I'm really kind of tired of all the misinformation.
So, do you have a question? I'll give you all time to respond to her statement.
I think we've actually already covered that.
Did you say
that, Bob?
Yes.
All right, we're going to head to the break now.